All right, in lesson 2.6, we do a quick overview of slopes and equations of lines. This is like an entire unit in Algebra 1, but we kind of just cover the highlights quickly in one lesson. So, slope. The symbol we use to indicate the slope is an M, and the slope represents the rise over the run in a line. The rise can also be looked at as the change in y. The run is the change in x. And so if we write out the formula for that, the change in y would be y2 minus y1 over the change in x would be x2 minus x1. Sometimes the slope is also referred to as a rate of change. That's typically in a story problem. But I'll just make a note of that. Now, lines can kind of look, have one of four different slopes. Okay? So if you have a line that is increasing from left to right, it is going up, that line has a positive slope. If it is going down as you look from left to right, that has a negative slope. A horizontal line has no rise, right? We're not going up or down at all. We're just going straight across. So since the rise is 0, 0 divided by whatever your run is 0. So this has a slope of 0. A vertical line has no run. It's not going left or right at all, so you'd have a 0 in the denominator, which is not allowed. So that is what we call an undefined slope. Now, positive and negative slopes, the lines that have those slopes, you can write their equations in slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept form of a line. Slope-intercept form of a line is y equals mx plus b. M indicates the slope that we already talked about, and b indicates the y-intercept. This is why this is called slope-intercept form. It gives you the slope and the y-intercept. Now, the y and the x represent the coordinate pairs of every point on the line. So they're going to be in every equation. It'll be something like y equals negative 2/3 x plus 7 or whatever. Horizontal and vertical lines have special equations. Okay. A horizontal line, if we look down here at example 1b, a horizontal line goes through the y-axis. So its equation is always y equals some number. And that number is actually the y-intercept. It's where you go through the y-axis. But if we look down here at 1c at a vertical line goes through the x-axis. So its equation is x equals a number. That's something I have to think about pretty carefully, and I know others do as well, because when I see a horizontal line, I think of the x-axis, so I want to say x equals a number, but that's not the case, right? You have to remember a horizontal line goes through the y-axis, so the equation is y equals a number. Additionally, we're going to talk about parallel and perpendicular lines. We talked about parallel lines a little bit yesterday in our lesson. Parallel lines have equal slopes. Okay. And then perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes. Opposite means you change the sign. So a positive slope would change to a negative slope, or vice versa. A negative would change to a positive. Reciprocal means you flip the fraction. So if the original fraction was something like a over b, the opposite reciprocal would be, the reciprocal would be b over a, and then we would make it negative because it's the opposite. So that would be an example. So just to be sure you got that, like let's think about 3/4. The opposite reciprocal of 3/4, we would flip it and make it the opposite. So negative 4/3. If I had something like -3, that would be the same as -3/1. So I flip it and make it the opposite, which is positive. So -3 and 1/3 are opposite reciprocals. All right, I think I'm going to start a new video for the examples. So look for that one on the playlist.